is Rojas. We've just heard that Sung Park has abandoned. He was in the breakaway group, but he's decided to now abandon today's race. That's disappointing. He had ridden so well in that breakaway group. This is the Costa Rican rider who's in no man's land right now. Number 182, Juan Rojas of Costa Rica. The Serbian rider is going to be called soon. And Juan Rojas heading up towards the conclusion of this lap. You can see the peloton all across the road now. Norway with all their troops coming to the front. And the Norwegian squad with Christoph and all the rest of his riders. I think we could see a big move starting to happen. Edvald Boashagen, Vigard Breen, Sven-Erik Byström, Alexander Kristoff, Vegard Steek-Lengen, Lars Petter Nordic. Kristoff has his training group around about him. And there's the Serbian rider. Give him a wave. Ivan Stevic. He waves. He knows that his time in the Worlds is pretty much over. But very well done to Ivan Stevic today. He gives everyone a bow. He's enjoyed being there in the breakaway group. All smiles from Ivan Stevic. So the group now are heading up towards the line. It was 1:55 last time, and we'll see what the time gap is this time. It's going to be over 2 minutes. Spain, left-hand side. And this time, as we head across the line, it's going to be around about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. 2:15, 7 laps of racing to go. And there is no room anywhere to watch this race now. Tvetkov has a smile at the camera again, shakes his head. Still the 5 riders maintaining their advantage. They're going to be out in the lead for a little while longer. All the team cars going underneath my commentary box window. And the Serbian riders had a nice time out. He was in the break. He's enjoyed being there. But he said that was very, very hard. Here he is. He quits. He abandons. He's now out of the race as well. But he's had his time. And you have to admire the effort to try and go out and take today's World Championship. Back with the leaders, 5 leaders. Dunn of Ireland, Sargent New Zealand, King of the United States of America, Alzat of Colombia, and Tvetkov of Romania. Thank you for joining me. Do tweet in if you would like to, at Ant McCrossan, and let me know who you think might win this race today. Thanks, Philip, for your message on Twitter today. As we look at these riders now, the Spanish riders dominating the front of the peloton. So are the Polish riders, and also one Brazilian rider up towards the front of the race. Jos van Emden looks around to see where everyone is. He's kind of left them behind a little bit. The gap's starting to grow a teeny bit more. 2:25 now on Radio Tour, the advantage for these riders. Well, I hope you're enjoying today's action. A lot more is going to happen before the end of this race. The Romanian rider kicking on at the front, still the rider from United Healthcare, a member of Rachel Hill's team. She was just in here just now, still looking really cool, spinning those pedals over as though it's still the beginning of the race as Ben King moves up on the outside on his Cannondale bike. I saw Jonathan Vaughters a couple of nights ago. He is here with Doug Ellis as well, and Connor Dunn making his way through too. The Irish team getting some really good riders now. They had the legendary times with Stephen Roach. Holding on to the car is Matteo Trentin, having a conversation. Rides for the Ethics Quick Step team. But looks like he's had He's just discussing team tactics. That's more than 10 seconds. And on the front now, moving up, Ian Stannard of Great Britain. They're starting to look interested. Alex Dowsett also arriving. I wonder what the team tactics of Great Britain are today. Dowsett making his way through to the front of the race, the former world hour record holder, sitting on the wheel of Tony Martin, another magnificent time trialist. But suddenly Great Britain are coming forward in numbers. I wonder what their tactic is going to be. Is it Adam Yates that they're going to ride for? But just talking about Ireland, now they've got Dan Martin, they've got Nicholas Roach, they've got Philip Diagnan, Connor Dunn, Sam Bennett, and many, many other riders. It's very impressive to see. To Libby Hill again, inside final 85 kilometres of today's race. Tom Bonan gives it a little bit of throttle, immediately tracked by Tony Martin. Tom Bonan is looking like he wants to get involved in the action now. So Bonan stretching the tempo a little bit at the front of this race. Tom Bonan looking animated. Mikko Kwiatkowski, his teammate at Ethics Quickstep, also there. And suddenly this tempo is starting to go up all the time. And that interesting move of the Dutch squad to try and stretch the race and break it a little bit the last time round, looks like it is starting to cause some problems for some riders further on back in the race. And now it's the Belgian squad trying to stretch this tempo a little bit more. Next time round we've got 5 laps of races. This rider from Costa Rica, and that is Rojas. We've just heard that Sung Park has abandoned. He was in the breakaway group, but he's decided to now abandon today's race. That's disappointing. He had ridden so well in that breakaway group. This is the Costa Rican rider who's in no man's land right now. Number 182. Juan Rojas of Costa Rica. The Serbian rider is going to be called soon. And Juan Rojas heading up towards the conclusion of this lap. You can see the peloton all across the road now. Norway with all their troops coming to the front. And the Norwegian squad with Christoph and all the rest of his riders. I think we could see a big move starting to happen. Edvald Boashagen, Vigard Breen, Sven-Erik Bystrom, Alexander Kristoff, Vegard Steik-Lengen, Lars Petter Nordic. Kristoff has his training group around about him. And there's the Serbian rider. Give him a wave. Ivan Stevic. He waves. He knows that his time in the Worlds is pretty much over. But very well done to Ivan Stevic today. He gives everyone a bow. He's enjoyed being there in the breakaway group. All smiles from Ivan Stevic. So the group now are heading up towards the line. It was 1:55 last time, and we'll see what the time gap is this time. It's going to be over 2 minutes. Spain left-hand side. And this time, as we head across the line, it's going to be around about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. 2:15, 7 laps of racing to go. And there is no room anywhere to watch this race now. Tvetkov has a smile at the camera again, shakes his head. Still the 5 riders maintaining their advantage. They're going to be out in the lead for a little while longer. All the team cars going underneath my commentary box window. And the Serbian riders had a nice time out. He was in the break, he's enjoyed being there, but he said that was very, very hard. Here he is. He quits, he abandons, he's now out of the race as well. But he's had his time. And you have to admire the effort to try and go out and take today's World Championship. Back with the leaders, 5 leaders. Dunn of Ireland, Sargent New Zealand, King of the United States of America, Alzat of Colombia, and Tvetkov of Romania. Thank you for joining me. Do tweet in if you would like to, at Ant McCrossan, and let me know who you think might win this race today. Thanks, Philip, for your message on Twitter today. As we look at these riders now, the Spanish riders dominating the front of the peloton. So are the Polish riders, and also one Brazilian rider up towards the front of the race. Jos van Emden looks around to see where everyone is. He's kind of left them behind a little bit. The gap's starting to grow a teeny bit more. 2:25 now on Radio Tour, the advantage for these riders. Well, I hope you're enjoying today's action. A lot more is going to happen before the end of this race. The Romanian rider kicking on at the front, still the rider from United Healthcare, a member of Rachel Hill's team. She was just in here just now, still looking really cool, spinning those pedals over as though it's still the beginning of the race as Ben King moves up on the outside on his Cannondale bike. I saw Jonathan Waters a couple of nights ago. He is here with Doug Ellis as well, and Connor Dunn making his way through too. The Irish team getting some really good riders now. They had the legendary times with Stephen Roach. Holding on to the car is Matteo Trentin, having a conversation. Rides for the Ethics Quick Step team. But looks like he's just discussing team tactics. That's more than 10 seconds. And on the front now, moving up, Ian Stannard of Great Britain. They're starting to look interested. Alex Dowsett also arriving. I wonder what the team tactics of Great Britain are today. Dowsett making his way through to the front of the race, the former world hour record holder, sitting on the wheel of Tony Martin, another magnificent time trialist. But suddenly Great Britain are coming forward in numbers. I wonder what their tactic is going to be. Is it Adam Yates that they're going to ride for? But just talking about Ireland, now they've got Dan Martin, they've got Nicholas Roach, they've got Philip Diagnan, Connor Dunn, Sam Bennett, and many, many other riders. It's very impressive to see. To Libby Hill again, inside final 85 kilometres of today's race. Tom Bonan gives it a little bit of throttle, immediately tracked by Tony Martin. Tom Bonan is looking like He wants to get involved in the action now. So Boonen stretching the tempo a little bit at the front of this race. And Tom Boonen looking animated. Mikko Kwiatkowski, his teammate at Ethics Quickstep, also there. And suddenly this tempo is starting to go up all the time. And that interesting move of the Dutch squad to try and stretch the race and break it a little bit the last time round looks like it is starting to cause some problems for some riders further on back in the race. And now it's the Belgian squad trying to stretch this tempo a little bit more. Next time round we've got 5 laps of racing to go. And things are hotting up, and so at this point in the race we welcome into the commentary box to join us is a rider, of course, that we all know here in the States, and a very warm welcome to Frankie Andre.
Thanks for having me. Great race so far.
How's it going from your perspective, having seen what's going on out there?
Well, I mean, the early break went, and it's interesting how they just kept it at a short leash. They didn't really let it go out there, and I think partly because the course is so dynamic, and there's so much changing, and I think the fight for position, everybody trying to be to the front, and I think I was very surprised with Holland just riding really from lap 1. I mean, putting out so much effort early on that they put out a big effort. They're going to have I'm not sure how many bullets they're going to have at the end, because it seemed like they used a lot of energy, but not letting the break up the road was a little bit different. Right now, Belgium, really, you can see the grimace on their face, trying to punch it and split it up, but last lap, coming through the start-finish line, you see a lot of tired faces, and it's amazing. There's still 83 kilometers to go, and guys are cracking.
It's incredible, isn't it? Everyone said that this course wasn't that hard, but we've added up 46 climbs in any bike race is very, very hard indeed, isn't it?
No, extremely hard. And the thing is with this course, there's the 3 climbs. There's Libby, there's 23rd, and there's coming up Governors. And every time you go on up it, it takes a bit of power. It's like a punchy. So every time you go, it's like, and I compare it to like lifting weights. You know, if you're lifting weights and you're getting to that 10th rep, and then all of a sudden your legs give out, you can't do that 11th rep. This is how this course is shaping up, and this is how it's going to play out. Is that you're going to be fine for 10 laps, but all of a sudden when you get to the last 2 laps and you got to try to go up 23rd with the same power and the same watts that you've been doing it, your legs are going to give out, and before you know it, we're going to see a lot of riders actually. The gaps are going to open up, the big splits are going to happen, and right now what's going to be critical is having the numbers. The numbers in that front group in these splits is really going to be critical. Belgium right now trying to set things up and keeping that pace, and that's the thing too. Once a team senses a little bit of weakness or a split, they're trying to take advantage of it right away. And again, usually you don't see that in a World Championships or in any race until you get sorted down to the end. 82 kilometers to go is a lot of racing left.
Yeah, because normally when we look at World Championships, and you and I have seen lots of World Championships, generally what happens is you see the breakaway go, they get 10 minutes, they chase them down. The last 2 laps is flat out, full motor, everyone's going. But this is a totally different shape of the world, and it's really exciting to see the way Belgium are pressing on. The Dutch have pressed on a little bit, and now a lot of the time actually Kwiatkowski's been near the front. He's sitting 3rd wheel as defending champion right now, and this is more like a classic type bike race, isn't it, where we see every single little climb being used as that springboard to try and split more riders out the back.
Very much like a classic style race. It's a classic designed kind of course. It's a classic style race that's playing out here. And what we see a lot of times is you'll have a lot of leaders in a typical World Championships. You'll have a lot of leaders sitting in, all conserving themselves. The way this course is designed and the way it seems to be playing out is that really the morning strategy really said, we are working for you. We are working for you. It's all designed on one rider from each country, and the other riders really are putting themselves in a position where they really do have to sacrifice themselves in order to keep that main contender fresh for the end and getting into good position. That's the thing, though. It's not just about being fresh for the end. Really, a lot of it is about position. We've seen a few crashes. You have to be in the front because as you get over the top of these climbs, the front 15 guys, they can all sit up. You can ride really easy. The 30th to 50th position, they're chasing for kilometer after kilometer after kilometer, burning a ton of energy while the front guys are resting.
We've just seen Robert Hessing go on the attack again. Now, we've seen him do this a few times during the race so far. It's like a little bit of a sparring partner duo here going on with Bauke Mollema, he just went to the front. He let Robert Hessing go on the attack, but none of these attacks seem to be sticking, and I wonder what the Dutch plan is. Are they riding for Tom Dumoulin today, who we haven't seen all race? But the Dutch are softening up all the time, but nothing's really happening for them. Do we think Dumoulin is their rider today, or is there another plan?
They didn't have someone in the first split.
No.
They started riding very early on.
Yeah.
Very surprising at that, because there were a lot of other countries that didn't have somebody in the first split. They didn't let it go way up the road. They could have let this thing take 6-7 minutes. Probably would not have been a threat. I mean, half the riders in that break, a ton of credit for making the break, but many of them were coming from like racing in America for many years. So, Holland obviously with a plan, trying to soften it, maybe they think the race course isn't that hard. They're like, okay, we need to make the race hard, and so they've been attacking like mad, and riding a hard tempo to make the race as hard as possible. But I think on its own, with 5 laps to go right now, the race is going to be hard enough.
Frankie, look at the average speed now, 45 kilometers an hour. It's getting faster and faster all the time. Riders are dropping out the back. We've got some splits. I've just seen one of the British riders being dropped then. We're at 4 hours 23 minutes. As a rider, there aren't many races of 260k. We see Milano Sanremo is 300, but apart from that, there are not many riders there are not many races 260k anywhere in the world. So just how demanding is it on a body of an athlete to ride 260k?
It's hard, especially, again, everybody can make 120 miles.
Yeah.
The last 30 miles are completely different and takes a whole different beast, and it takes a world champion to be able to have the strength to be able to get there at the end. Everything starts giving out, and that's what I was talking about, like the comparison of lifting weights. You're going to get into the last 30 miles, and you have to go up. Libby in 23rd, the legs are just going to give out. Riders, they could be feeling very, very well, and they'll be very surprised how they'll catch up with them, and all of a sudden the power is gone. I've seen riders, sitting in the group. Some of them are sitting back, and they're gambling. They don't care what happens in the front. They don't care about the split. They're going to stick with the main group and try to save themselves as rested as possible until they get to those final 2 laps. I saw Peter Sagan looking very comfortable, nowhere near the front. Last time they went through, the split was up the road. He was in the main peloton just riding. He's like, I'm just going to roll the dice and see what happens. And sometimes to be able to win, you have to risk losing in order to win. And I think a lot of the riders in this group, at least the sprinter guys, have that on their mind right now. If it was raining, I think it would have been a better chance actually for the sprinters, because they would have had to go a little bit slower around the whole entire course. But every race we've seen so far has been a fantastic race. And the women, the juniors, it's been super exciting. This is shaping up right now to kind of explode and turn into another fantastic race.
Yeah, I think it is. We've got 3 riders making their way off the front right now. One of them is that Kirienka trying to come across, the Belarusian in the colours. It might be Sweetsoff actually, who's just coming across here to these 2 leaders, which means that we are going to see a pretty incredible group at the front. So we've got Pantano at the front, and also in the group is also Guillaume Boivin of Canada. And it is Sweetsoff who's coming across to this leading group, who's a great time trialist who rides for the Team Sky. We saw Kirienka win the individual time trial the other day. So 3 riders now at the front, 79 kilometers to go. Pantano is the Colombian rider in the middle there. At the front is Guillaume Boivin, the Canadian rider, and at the back is Sweetsoff. These 3 riders will try and go clear. Now another attack, and is this Taylor Phinney coming across to the leading group of riders? No, I don't think it is, because Taylor's got some tape on him today, so it's not him, but it is now one of the riders is this joining up with him. It is Taylor.
It is Taylor.
So
yeah.
He's taken a tape off his... Oh, no, it's still there on the left leg. I thought it was Taylor, and then I thought it wasn't for a second. So Finney, with 78k to go. Now, bear in mind, Frankie, this guy has had 18 months out trying to recover, and you're talking about the fact that, you know, the last 30 miles is going to be difficult. We're inside the last 50 miles. Just how incredible is it that Taylor Finney can come back like this?
No, it was amazing. His first race back at Tour of Utah, he was second on that stage. It's like people training and racing for years, and they can't get first, second, or third in any kind of stage, and a remarkable talent. And so he, I think, delayed coming back in order to make sure that he was at full strength when he came back. And now, looking back, it was the best decision he made, you know, without having to come back too early. But he's been on a remarkable ride, obviously part of BMC Team Time Trial World Championship, gold medal. So everything has been lining up for him. And the distance, if there's something, power is not going to be the problem for Taylor Finney. The distance will be the problem, because that short time in coming back, he really hasn't had the time to be able to build up, I think, that kind of endurance to be there. But
Vice.com is the...
Now it's starting to grow. 57 seconds is now the advantage for this leading group of 4 riders. So let's just remind us of who they are. If you've just joined us now, Pantano of Colombia, Bovan of Canada, Suisse of Belarus, Taylor Finney of the United States of America, being chased now down by Gatis Smukalis, the Latvian rider. Stephen Cummings has made his way back into the peloton, a rider who rides at the back of the race all the time. He always tells me, I always say that, but it's true. He sits there constantly. He's just had a mechanical. There are some riders who like to ride at the front and some riders who like to ride at the back.
It can be much less stressful riding at the back.
Okay.
And easier.
Yeah?
And easier. It can be. And it depends on the course. On this course, I'm not so sure riding at the back would be easier, but on other courses, for sure. But big chance that you're not going to be able to move up at a certain time. You're not going to be able to make the attack. You're going to miss a split. Anything can happen in the crashes. So there's a lot of risk with riding at the back. On this type of course, I think it would be harder. Plus, the dynamics of the splits happening, I think there's too much that can happen out there. But right now, in the first break, what was the maximum they got up to? Maybe 3.5 minutes?
Yeah.
They didn't really give it too much of a leash. This is already up to a minute, starting to move up the road. Who do you think is going to be? I mean, we've seen Holland controlling from lap 1. I don't know how many guys they have left. Is there going to be another team, or do you think it's going to be Holland again if this goes up to like 1.5 minutes? Who's going to panic first?
I think it's got to be the Germans who are going to panic a little bit, and maybe the Polish team did a lot of riding earlier on, so they're not going to have so many riders left. But one team we haven't mentioned an awful lot about, and I just noticed coming up to the front of the peloton, Elia Viviani and Nibali, Italy, have done no work at all yet.
How about is Toronto Blue Jays Sportsnet Hesk?
We've just heard that Nasser Bouhanni's had a mechanical problem and he's just being paced back into the peloton by 2 teammates. So Nasser Bouhanni is still in with a shout of winning this world title. This gap is growing. 1 minute 15 seconds now is the advantage for the leading trio. Canada with one rider at the front there on the left-hand side, quite happy to let this gap go. The American riders also sitting near the front. They're happy for Taylor Finney to be there. Taylor Finney igniting this race for the United States of America. They got the bronze medal yesterday with, of course, Megan Garnier, who produced a stunning performance for them to get that bronze medal behind her professional teammate, Lizzie Armistead. Taylor Finney, a world champion of the team time trial. He won the Dubai Tour in 2014. He was the individual time trial world champion under 23 back in 2010. He's won a stage of the Giro d'Italia in 2012. And one rider trying to go clear here. This rider is Bagdonas of Lithuania, trying to go clear. He wants to try and get up the road if he possibly can and catch the leading trio the Taylor Phinney also won a stage of the Tour of Poland, a stage in the Eneco Tour. He was fourth in the Olympic Games road race in 2012, only 25 years of age, but certainly a rider who, until he had his crash, was on a massive trajectory, but now, having come back, he's just as good. This is Bagdonas. As he continues with his attack, he rides for Agidouer Le Mondial, the French squad, as he is a very strong time trialist. You can just see that with the strength as he keeps the momentum going. We look down on the peloton with the sun on everyone's backs. We expected it to be pouring with rain today. We've not had that at all. 36 miles left to go, 59 kilometres. Who is going to win this world title? Renato Silvestri, I've got no idea who's going to win. 1:15, I don't know. I thought Greg Van Avermaet or Stibar, possibly before the start of today's race. And it's still kind of shaping up that way. We'll wait and see what happens. And I agree with Panda, actually. Panda Sportswear have said the same thing. I totally agree. Pat Fitzgerald's asked about Sam Bennett. He was certainly in the peloton a lot of the time. I'm just going to see whether I can see him in this group right now. The front group of riders. Bennett is still there, I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard on race radio that he has dropped out of the race at all. But certainly things are starting to be a little bit painful out there for some of these riders. This is Bagdonas. And Gimenez Bagdonas is 29 years of age as he time trials away. He won the An Post Ross when he rode for the An Post Sean Kelly team. He's won a stage of the Tour of Britain as well, and then he rides for now Agidouer Le Mondial. He's a tough bike rider, really good time trialist. As we look down now on the peloton, and it is the Dutch team and also the Germans who are keeping everything in control. Sweetsoff asks for a bottle, which he takes with professional ease. Look at that. Phinney, Sweetsoff, Bourvin, the three leaders as they go through the feed again. The tempo very, very high now. And Bourvin taking a little drink on board, just trying to keep the body nice and topped up. As Frankie said, in the last 30 miles, your body will start to react in different ways when you are this tired. Bagdonas has just finished the Vuelta a España. It has been interesting the way we've seen little groups of riders going off the front all of the time in today's race. We had that early breakaway, but now as things stand, a trio of riders, and the gap now goes out to 1 minute and 25 seconds. Quite a similar pattern to what happened yesterday in the women's race, where we saw that group of riders go clear. They got over a minute with a couple of laps to go, and we're seeing similar things happening right now. But Bagdonas is giving this an awful lot of throttle to try and get to the front of the race. I don't know what his time gap is right now. As soon as I hear it, I'll let you know. Downhill then with Bourvin in the super tough pedalling action, as Frankie said when he came into the commentary box. Taylor Phinney right on the wheel, Sweetsoff looking good. Bagdonas now starting to build his advantage on the peloton. The big question is, can he get to the front of the race? Crash on the left-hand side of the road, and a massive crash with loads of riders going down in this feeding area. Team Sky's Nordic is down. There was one rider who really crashed pretty heavily, but everyone looks like they are up again. There's one bike left on the deck. I'm just looking to see Nordic now, just looking at his bike. Just take a look as they went through. One rider hit the deck as he went in the feed, and then suddenly everyone crashed on the left hand side. One of the Polish riders, I think, was Rafał Majka. And Majka was the second rider to hit the deck. I think it was one of the riders on the right hand side who just everyone piled in there. And it was Viti, the Spaniard, who was the last rider to be held up there. The Guatemalan rider, number 188, is Manuel Rodas. He's going to take a little bit of time to get going. So it looked to me like either someone missed a bottle or something and took their foot out and then suddenly hit the deck, but all sorts of carnage, which again is going to help this three-rider breakaway. Sweetsoft, Bovan and Taylor Finney still in the lead of this World Championship with 54 kilometres of racing to go. Zdeněk Štýbar has been the World Cyclocross champion. He was second in Paris-Roubaix this year on the cobbles. He was second in E3 Harelbeke. He won the Strade Bianche, always on tough surfaces. Strade Bianche is a race on the white Tuscan roads, the gravel roads. So he's a rider who loves to be on the cobbled races. He also won a stage of the Tour de France this year. He's had a fantastic season. This race is starting to come back together as we get to the conclusion of these World Championships. Inside the final 40 kilometres, we are in the finale of this year's race. Inside 40 kilometres to go. On the front of the peloton, still Robert Hessink and Roman Kreuziger continue with their work rate to try and bring the race back together. Tony Martin just tracking things a little bit. They'll be looking after the interests of predominantly Andre Greipel. They want this to be a bunch sprint. You wonder whether that's possible, but they also would also be able to play the card of John Degenkolb, who wears number 78. Degenkolb, winner of Milano San Remo this season. He's looking now to bring home the victory for Germany. Just heard from Alex Dowsett. Said it was pretty hard out there. He is retired from today's race. He had to bring back the big split for the rest of the British riders, and he said it cooked him. So he's now able to just recover and relax a little bit. The rain has gone off, the sun has come back out. So it looks like we may well stay dry by the looks of things until the end of this race, which would be stunning news if that does happen. Looking down on a diminished peloton, as you can see, similar to the women's race yesterday, things are just going, the peloton getting smaller and smaller with riders going out of the back of the race. The three leaders are just there in front to the right hand side, and suddenly Denmark come to the front. Well, this is a big move from the Danish team. They're looking very, very strong, aren't they? Look at this, the entire Danish team. Chris Juul Jensen on the front of the race. He's an Irish-Danish rider. When you meet him, you think he's going to be Danish, and then you talk to him and he's got a full-fledged Irish accent. but he has dual nationality and he chose to ride for the Danish squad. So Chris Jensen on the front of the peloton right now. In their team, Lars Bak, Rasmus Guldhammer, Matti Brescher we've mentioned. They're looking to set things up now. Michael Morkov, Michael Volgren Andersen. That's the team of Denmark as we make our way up towards the climb yet again. These riders going along the banks of the James River, closing in now on the three leaders. It looks like they're going to be caught. So Taylor Phinney, Sweetsoff and Bovan, their time in the lead is about to come to an end with the momentum of this Danish team, who look like they are really motoring on the front of the race. Chris Jensen will ride for the Australian Orica Green Edge team next season, and this is closing up very fast. We go underneath the railway tracks, and suddenly this gap, which went out to over a minute, is about to be closed. And as we hit Libby Hill, this race is all going to come back together. I think we're going to see some fireworks now. The British team moving up on the left-hand side of the screen. Take a look there. They have Ben Swift on the wheel. That is on the front now. Stannard is up there. They're going to shut things off. Luke Rowe is the first rider onto the cobbles. They put him in a perfect position. It looks like Stannard and Swift are going to kick things on over the top of this climb this time. And Swift, of course, has finished 12th in these World Championships last year. We've heard from Great Britain that they are kind of running a loose plan along the sort of lines of Swift going for the sprint. These two riders lead up the climb this time. Near the front also, one of the French riders. And Denmark, they tried to take control, but it didn't really work as Stannard and Swift with Kwiatkowski on their wheel. Next year will be a teammate of theirs. Boonen is there, Martin is there. The Dutch team with Bauke Mollema. He is up towards the front. Rui Costa also there. Buani is still near the front of this race. We haven't mentioned Peter Sagan yet. Sagan just hiding somewhere in this peloton. So is Matthews. And a couple of British riders going out the back. Stephen Cummings is still there. Luke Rowe has given everything he can. Yuri Sagan disappears out of the back as they go over the top of the climb, and it is Ben Swift who leads. He takes a bottle. Kwiatkowski still looks as cool as a cucumber as he sits up and takes a drink. He is now taking on a bottle. And it looks like he's going to completely check him, do it up. He must have been a little bit loose. Swift is the leader of this race. Suddenly, with 35 kilometres to go, there's a changing of the guard at the front of this World Championship. Well, thank you to all of you for joining me at Ant McCrossan, is where you can give me your final predictions as we head in towards the finish. Can Elia Viviani win? I think this is perfect for Viviani, of course. 6.8 kilos. Daryl Irvin, does it include the weight of the data pack under the saddle? I doubt it. I wouldn't have thought so. And Mikko Makesi, Geraint Thomas would have been perfect for this course. He would. Now the attack, and the attack comes from Great Britain. This is Ian Stannard. Stannard, the winner of Omloop Het Nieuwsblad on 2 occasions. He decides to go it alone. Robert Hessink is trying to go with him. Stannard has outwitted Etex Quickstep on a number of occasions. Boonen recognises that this is a big moment in this race. Stannard doesn't want this to come to a bunch sprint, so he is making a move. Sam Bennett of Ireland is still there. Looking on further back, who else is still there? Scott Thwaites is still there for Britain, but over the top of the climb this time goes Ian Stannard of Great Britain as he tries now to extend his advantage. He's one of the fastest descenders in the world. Robert Hessink has sensed the danger. He's going to try and go with Stannard. The big question now is, will Hessink and Stannard work together? Hessink has done an incredible amount of work in this World Championship so far for this Dutch squad, but he's taken the opportunity to go with him. Look how quick they are going downhill from the helicopter. 34 kilometres to go. Stannard goes whacking through that corner. Tom Boonen is there as well for the Belgian squad. Everyone is sensing that this is a big move, and Stannard is just time trialling away from the rest of this field right now. He takes a bottle. He gets rid of it to a fan at the side of the road. And Stannard goes through the right-hander yet again. He obviously feels very, very good. So this is an enterprising move by Ian Stannard of Great Britain, maybe motivated by the move of Lizzie Armistead in the finish yesterday. They're heading through Shotcall Bottom now. Stannard has pulled away a group of riders. Tom Boonen is looking around to see what the makeup of the group is. Stannard looks to see what is going on. I'm pretty sure Sagan has just made it onto the back of the group. Just taking a look here to see what has happened. No, here comes the attack, and it's one of the Dutch riders who is making a big, big move, having Stannard been the rider to go away. A massive attack at the front of this race now. And the Dutch are starting to... Bauke Mollema has now gone. It was Bauke Mollema, sorry, not Robert Hessink who made that move. So Mollema has used it as a springboard. Bauke Mollema has gone on the attack for the Dutch squad. He's right on form right now. He is trying to prize this breakaway off the front of the race. Next time round we have 2 laps to go as we make our way up. Governors, one of the Spanish riders, is just behind him, looking to see who that is. It's Rodriguez. Well, it could be Moreno actually. Kwiatkowski has made it. And Viviani is also here. The makeup of the group then. Boonen, Viviani, Stannard. Also in here is Moreno of Spain. Moreno has made it into that front group. This is a really dangerous move. Kwiatkowski has also made the move. Here we are on the front. Bauke Mollema, Kwiatkowski, Tom Boonen, Moreno, Stannard, Viviani, and on the back of the group looks to me like Andre Amador of Costa Rica. These riders are going clear. They really need to work together now to try and build the advantage. Kwiatkowski looking around. Is he surely going to work here? Moreno goes to the front. His job will be to track this breakaway. Bauke Mollema, 2 laps of this World Championship to go. Tom Boonen is joining up with a classic specialist in Stannard. Viviani is where he wants to go. This is a perfect move if indeed they all decide to work together. 2 laps of racing to go. Mollema, Boonen, Viviani, Stannard, Amador, Moreno and Kwiatkowski are the leaders of this World Championship. This is ignited, and look at the gap. The Australians have missed this, so have the Germans, and so Germany now get on the front. It is 18 seconds. What a move by Stannard to prize this off the front. It was Swift and Stannard who did the old 1-2. Swift took Stannard into the base of the climb, and then Stannard kicked on over the top. Andre Amador looking for a bottle. Kwiatkowski managed to just duck under that musette then. It was Moreno who led through the feeding zone. Kwiatkowski looks a little bit too cool. He doesn't look like he is kicking on too much. I wonder what the plan is here for the Polish squad. Kwiatkowski is soft pedaling a little bit. Surely this is the time to give this full throttle. Bauke Mollema goes to the front. Boonen is asking, are you going to work or are you not going to work? Stannard third in the line. Viviani, who's been on tremendous form this season for Italy. Kwiatkowski sitting on the wheels. He just looks far too easy, doesn't he? This is an incredible move at the front of these World Championships. Tom Boonen has been the world champion previously. There's a little bit of panic going on. 32 seconds now. The advantage. Seberg leads Andre Greipel to try and bring this race back together. It all comes down to Germany to do the chasing. 32 seconds. They'll start to get some real motivation soon. They'll be away from these wide roads and into the narrower downhill section. Stannard was the rider who started this breakaway. Stannard constantly taking as much drink as he can. He wants another bottle, so he moves over. His teammate on Team Sky, Viviani, lets him do that. Stannard desperately needed that bottle. He does take it. Andre Amador grabs it. You can see the speed these riders are moving at. Amador looking down to get rid of one bottle. Moreno needs a bottle, but he misses it. He wanted one from the United States of America. Behind there, we go back to the front of the peloton. 28 seconds is the advantage. The American squad have totally missed this. They have combining now with the Australians and the Germans. It could be that there are too many teams trying to chase. Well, normally the rule of thumb is if you've got 7 riders at the front, you need 8 riders chasing to bring this race back together. You'll notice how many Belgian riders at the front now. So the minute everyone peels off, the Belgian riders will no longer go through to the front. What a ride by Ben Swift to put Stannard into the point to make this huge attack. And maybe everyone was thinking that the move would happen on the final lap, but Stannard wanted it to go from a long, long way out. They are trying to build their advantage. Viviani goes through to the front in the Azzurri Blu of Italy. Boonen, look how urgent he is as he goes forward. He said to me the other day, this is the second flattest World Championships he's ever ridden, and you kind of got the sense that he felt that maybe this could be his year again. Viviani on the back of the group, shakes the legs a little bit, just trying to get a little bit more life in them, just trying to recover. He looks down. I'm sure his girlfriend Elena Cecchini right now will be jumping up and down, trying to get Viviani to go a little bit faster. She's the Italian champion. Viviani shakes his head. Maybe he's suffering a little bit. He's unable to go with this movement. Maybe he's been told he can't. Viviani's sitting on the wheels right now as we go fast downhill. Kwiatkowski into that aero tuck. Stannard just adjusting his back a little bit. 28 seconds, still the advantage. Stannard broke his back in a terrible crash. Luckily, he managed to recover, and he's now looking strong in this World Championship. Boonen at the front goes through. You can't get much stronger riders than this group of riders that we have. This is absolutely incredible. Bill Morse, do all the World Championships use a circuit course? What they generally do is they start one place, come to another, and then do finishing circuits. So it's not unusual to be on a finishing circuit, although I would say the characteristics of this are a little bit different to that we've seen. Joshua David wants to see Peter Sagan win this world title. A lot of people do want to do it, but this breakaway group right now are holding their advantage as Stannard kicks on, going uphill. Bauke Mollema goes to the front. Danny Moreno of the Spanish team, so the Spaniards won't chase, the Dutch won't chase, the British won't chase, neither the Belgians or the Polish or the Italians, but Viviani has decided that he can't contribute to this breakaway group, so they are obviously riding for Vincenzo Nibali. It means he's got to sit on the back of the group right now, and these professional riders will totally understand it. 2 teammates from Etixx Quickstep. Kwiatkowski looks at Boonen. They've ridden together so many times. There's the German powerhouses at the front. The Italians are coming forward. They want to block this one a little bit, even although Viviani is using the excuse of Nibali to sit in there. The Belgians are trying to disrupt this a little bit more. I'm just looking to see if that's still Ben King near the front of the race for the United States of America. If it is, it's an incredible ride by him. He was at the front earlier. The Dutch now arriving. They're trying to block things off a little bit. So some team tactics are happening. The Italians are disrupting it. The Dutch are disrupting it. They're trying to drive. What they'll try and do here, just to explain, the Belgians, the Italians and the Dutch will try and drive into the bottom of the climb, and then they'll try and slow up over Libby Hill to then let this group go away, because the Dutch have been riding for Bauke Mollema all day today. And you'll notice here that's exactly what they're going to do, and the Belgians are going to do exactly the same. They're going to drive into the bottom of the climb. It'll let the gap come down a little bit, and then they'll slow up and ride tempo over the top of Libby Hill, which will then put the leading group further ahead, and we might see this gap go out to a minute if indeed that is what happens. The Australians sense that. So the Australian team go to the front. They don't want this to happen. And the Italians and the Belgians, you could see there the little nudge, and it was Kinziato who just said to the rider alongside him, the Belgian rider, come up, let's block the road. We know this is good for us. Robert Hessink comes forward now for the Dutch team, and they can use the fact that this gap is growing to their advantage, and Bonin looks very, very strong to me today. 27 seconds is the advantage, so it's stabilised. Kwiatkowski is having to work hard here. Stannard on the front now as he goes through. They are using each other's slipstream and the power of each individual rider to just try and keep the momentum going. They've stayed away for one lap now of this circuit. The attack went on Libby Hill. Let's see whether the Belgians, the Dutch and the Italians are on the front of the peloton when they come on to Libby Hill. The motorbikes come round the corner. They are not far behind really in real terms. Bonin is going to put it into a gear that means he can really kick on up the climb. There's the peloton. This race is coming back together. But now it comes down to whether the Belgians can now use their form to good effect. Bonin goes on to the climb. Kwiatkowski measures him. Stannard is still there. He is able to ride these cobbles at a good tempo. Bonin looks like he's got slightly tired legs, but he goes formidably to the right-hand side of this race, and we'll see whether the Belgian team are on the front of this race right now. They are. Look at this. The Belgians, this is the lead group. Which group is just behind? We'll see who is doing the chasing, and it looks like we've got a little bit of a stretch happening as Tom Bonin, Kwiatkowski, Stannard, Viviani, and Belcamoloma, Danny Moreno. This race isn't over yet because the peloton is coming back. 15 seconds the advantage. It is closing up so fast now. And it is Marco Haller who kicks on over the top of the climb. The French are also represented well, so are the Italians. Looking to see where the likes of Peter Sagan are, because I've not seen Sagan all of this race. Next time round, the peloton are going to get one lap to go. Greipel is hanging on at the back. Stephen Cummings is still there for Great Britain. He's seen his teammate Stannard go on the move. Now these riders are going to plunge downhill to the bottom of 23rd Street to set themselves up for the finish. Right on Twitter, at @McCrossan, who is going to win this world title? It looks like the breakaway might well be reeled in before we get to the finish line yet again. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're about to be caught. Kwiatkowski goes fast through that left-hander. It is a much bigger group now. He's done an awful lot of work. He may well have tired himself a little bit. A few more riders have raced across to this front group. In fact, I think we're going to see a swelling of this leading group. We're just hearing a few riders racing across. Let's see. I think we've got 13 riders now in this leading group, and I'm just taking a look to see who has made it. John Degenkolb, I think, has made the front group. That's going to mean the Germans will no longer chase. Kwiatkowski, Amador, Viviani, Stannard, Moreno, Bonin. Degenkolb is now in there for Germany. Van Avermaet, Marco Haller desperately trying to get himself across to make it 14 riders in the leading group. I don't see Peter Sagan there yet. We've still got this leading group. 4 riders powered their way across. Andre Greipel on Radio Tour has just been dropped. Alexander Kristoff makes the front of the race now. All the big names are here. Just taking a look at this front race. Greipel now, his legs have given out. The Gorilla did us so much work to get Degenkolb to the front group. 18 kilometres to go. Race is over for Greipel. Only 18 kilometres remain in this World Championship. I think we've got 13 or 14 riders in the leading group, being led by one of the French riders. I haven't quite seen who that is. Stannard is still there. One Italian rider also made it across to this front group. I'm wondering if it was Vincenzo Nibali. We'll take a look down in a moment and see who it is. It might have been Trontin, actually, who might have got himself there too. This is shaping up to be some finish to this World Championship. Stannard looks around, Bonin is still there, 14 riders, another few riders make the front split now. And you can see a definite split as we go through Shotcourt Bottom. Who is going to win this world title? Viviani leads, coming through now, Van Avermaet. Take a look at the front of this race, though. It's all coming back together. At the front of the race, then, Dumoulin has made it. Rui Costa just jumping across. Degenkolb is there. Tony Galopin is the French rider. Sam Bennett of Ireland desperately trying to get onto the wheels as they make their way across the top of Governors. This time round, there'll be one lap to go. Kwiatkowski is there. It wasn't Christoph, sorry, it was Edvald Bosenhagen. Bosenhagen is in this front group now. Philip Gilbert is also there. Just having a look to see who else is in this front group as they all swing across the road. This is proving to be a thrilling finish to this year's race. What a finish. And now we see another attack going on as these riders try and go clear. Still Bauke Mollema. Tom Dumoulin has reached the front of the race in third place. This time round we have got one lap of racing to go. Tom Dumoulin goes on the attack on the right hand side of the road. The rider who rode so well in the Vuelta a España, Bauke Mollema, tries to set things up, and it is now with one lap to go, Tom Dumoulin who leads this World Championship road race as this starts to split up a little bit. Just on his wheel, one rider desperately trying to get across, and that is Kuznetsov. Dumoulin then is the leader of this World Championship, with Kuznetsov is the Russian rider who is immediately onto his wheel. Dumoulin has obviously recovered from that injury. Two riders going clear. Just behind them then, the immediate counter-attacks as riders try to come up to these two leaders. Dumoulin has pressed on very, very early. Coming across now, looks like one of the Estonian riders who is trying to shut the gap. There's still Ian Stannard is still there. It is going to be some finish. Tony Galopin of France is also near the front of this race. Well, 15.5 kilometers to go. Who is going to be the winner of this World Championship? Kuznetsov flicks his elbow, asks Dumoulin in the orange to come through. Rui Costa now is the rider who's coming across to these leaders. Rui Costa was the world champion in 2013, and now Rui Costa arrives at the front of this race. He looks around to see what is going on. Behind him, all good. Certainly a big group of riders who have been dropped by this big acceleration. And now two riders are going clear. Dumoulin doesn't like that combination. One of the Estonian riders trying to shut the gap on the rest of the riders right now. Oh, this is some finish to a bike race. Move now at the front from one of the Portuguese riders. This is Nelson Oliveira, I think, who's just making a move. Looking around to see what's happening. Andre Amador wants to go with this one. So Amador trying to track this one back. This race isn't over yet. And it looks like Nelson Oliveira, the rider at the front. Amador trying to come across to him. Amador is the Costa Rican rider in second place in this wheel. 14 kilometers to go. This race is starting to warm up as we head in towards the conclusion of this World Championship. Who is going to take it? Peter Sagan is that, who's just arrived at the front. I can't quite see through the camera shot. So Amador, one of the Russian riders actually who's just made it, could be Pavel Brut, who has just made the front of the race. Sorry for the picture breakup. And I think it could be Rein Terame, who is the rider from Estonia, who has just made the front of the race, the winner of the Arctic race just a few weeks ago. Rein Terame, the winner of the Vuelta a Burgos. Pretty sure it's Oliveira, Amador, Rein Terame, maybe Pavel Brut, and one Belgian rider at the back, which could be Philip Gilbert, but I'm just taking a look here to see which of them it is. Tish Benoot has also been up there for the Belgian team over the run into this next point in the race. 14 kilometers of racing remain. It is Pavel Brut. Four seconds the advantage for this leading group. Is at the front, Rein Terame looking around to see whether he gets any assistance. Amador's coming through, but as you can see, the peloton led by the blue of the Italians is trying to bring this race back together. Rachel Heels just messaged me to say she would think Ian Stannard could be the winner. Christoph I haven't seen for a little while, but that doesn't mean he's not here. Edvald Bosenhagen is certainly here for Norway. Thank you to all of you who have joined me for this World Championship. We are into the last lap. 12.8 kilometers remain as the leaders go round the corner. Richmond has welcomed the world of cycling here, and we have seen an absolutely incredible World Championship as the race comes back together. Now another attack starts to happen. It's a Belarusian, it's Vasyl Kirienka, I think, who is trying to, I'm sorry, these three riders are still clear. Pavel Brut, Rein Terame and Andre Amador, Nelson Oliveira, the three riders in the lead. Oliveira, Rein Terame, Pavel Brut. Coming back together though. The Italian riders are closing this one up. They want to put Nibali in with a chance of going on the attack up that final climb of Governor Street. If he is still there, I'm pretty sure he is. They've got so many cards to play. Look at the Danish riders, and the Norwegians are also massing, ready for the final run into the conclusion of this World Championship. I think I could see one South African rider in here, Peloton Gruppe. The race is all together now. As we head towards the end of this race, Sam Bennett of Ireland is still in this peloton. It's a big group of riders. Are we going to see the same as we've seen in the other races, with the likes of Kevin Ledamois racing away over the top of the climb the final time to hold on to the finish line? It is going to take a rider who's prepared to lose to win this race, as Frankie Andreu said to us earlier on. Our guest today, thank you to Brian Cookson, thank you to Frankie Andreu, to Rachel Heel, who joined me in the commentary box to just talk a little bit about the race. At the front now, it is the team of Italy who have control. Behind Italy, it's Suisse of Belarus, as he looks to try and bring Kirienka through, possibly to win this race. The Australians are massing. They've got Michael Matthews, the Australians, and also Simon Gerrans. They bring Gerrans and Matthews to the front of the race. What a move by Australia. They're in the white, green and yellow. This race is coming to its conclusion. In just a moment, we will have 10 kilometres to go, but Italy now have full control of the front of this peloton. The blue of Italy, they've ridden a different race this time. Normally they take it on far too early, but this year they've decided not to, as they all look around at each other. Nibali is still there. On the front is Manuel Kinziato. Behind Kinziato, another move now, and it's Kirienka. Vasil Kirienka, the world time trial champion, decides now that it's time to make his move as he goes clear. They don't want to let him go. One of the American riders, I think it is, who is jumping across to Vasil Kirienka. What a move by the Belarusian rider. Big move. In fact, it is at the front. Suitsov who's gone again for Belarus. And Suitsov now opening up the advantage. It looked like Kirienka had decided to go, but it's Suitsov who's now, I don't know where he's getting the energy from today. Suitsov has been constantly on the attack. The Italians still seem to have this under control right now. They don't seem to be worried. They're going to close this one up. Turning left now. This race is setting itself up now for its conclusion. It has been one of those races. This is a big move at the front. And it's Tyler Farrar who is on the move now. I'm pretty sure Tyler Farrar and Suitsov, the camera just not getting down there to see the faces of these riders, but to me it looks like the style of Tyler Farrar, the MTN Quebec rider. So confirm then that it is Suitsov and Tyler Farrar I can see here. Tyler Farrar riding for the MTN Quebec team, the American rider going clear with Suitsov, who's already been on the attack a couple of times today. But Tyler Farrar trying to make the move now. We don't see Tyler Farrar race like this normally. He has been a rider who always waits for the sprint, but let's not forget, Tyler Farrar has won some pretty big major bike races in his career. He's won stages of every one of the 3 Grand Tours, the Giro d'Italia, the Tour de France and the Vuelta a España, but he's also won some one-day classic bike races. I saw him a few days ago. He looked very lean and ready for this World Championship. Tyler Farrar now on the front of the race, delighting the American fans. Suitsov is going to go through. These two are just giving it absolutely everything they can to stay away. They have got, over 250 kilometres in those legs, and still they are motoring. Farrar riding for this African squad of MTN Quebec this season as they go left now. Fast downhill. 8 seconds is their advantage on Radio Tour. Suitsov and Farrar combining at the front. This is a perfect combination for these two riders because Suitsov 9 seconds now. They're getting up towards the 10-second mark. It's looking like it is going to be a fantastic run in to the finish line. Tyler Farrar with that little ponytail at the back as he tries to power his way through to try and keep this breakaway going. 8 kilometres of racing to go. Suitsov has been a real powerhouse in this race so far. He was in that big group on the attack earlier on today, but now he's combining with the American rider Tyler Farrar. 10 seconds now the advantage. Have they outwitted the rest of this peloton? Farrar can definitely climb. He loves the cobbles. Tyler Farrar is a rider who has lived most of his time in Belgium. He has lived there for a long time. He recently moved back to the United States of America. He will ride for the MTN Quebec team next year, which will be the Dimension Data squad. He's won 3 stages of the Vuelta a España, twice won stages of the Giro d'Italia. He's won Skelder Prize, which is another one-day classic bike race. He's won a stage of the Tour de France. He's won 3 stages of the Eneco Tour as well. And we haven't really seen him race like this for a while because he was traditionally the sprinter of the Cannondale Garmin team, but unleashed now to try and go for this world title. 7 seconds now is the advantage as they make their way down to the banks of the James River, and now Farrar is trying to go it alone. He gets rid of Suitsov. He literally is riding Suitsov off his wheel as he looks around. He says, come on, come with me here. We need a little bit of assistance, but Farrar is so strong right now that he looks like he is, if he'd made the move move at a perfect time, then he could be the race winner. 50 kilometers an hour as we go uphill past the railroad along the side of the river. Sweetsoff is constantly looking round. Farrar isn't 100% happy with the work rate of Sweetsoff, but let's bear in mind we are well over 250 kilometers of racing. The entire Italian squad now on the front of this race, trying to bring it back together, but it's not happening. Sweetsoff and Farrar still have their advantage. 8 seconds, and Sweetsoff is mouth wide open. He's in all sorts of hurt. Farrar and Sweetsoff, 5.8 kilometres to go. We look at a diminished peloton led by the Italian squad. They're trying to put Vincenzo Nibali in to win the world title after his disappointment in the Vuelta a España. They are doing a tremendous amount of work now to bring this race back together. Still Farrar and Sweetsoff just working each other to try and stay away, but you get the sense that it's not really going to happen. The American team really have produced a fantastic performance today with Taylor Phinney, with Ben King. Brent Bookwalter previously was in a little bit of the action. Tyler Farrar is there, but is one rider still left in here, and that's a young rider, Lawson Craddock. Maybe they're just softening up for a result no one expects. Look at the blue of the Italians all on the front of this peloton. Now the Belgians also arrive. This race is going to come back together as we turn onto Libby Hill. The peloton is all together. Who is going to win this world title? There is a lot of riders in with a shout of winning this. Now another big attack, and Farrar goes yet again. He's refusing to give in. He's trying to break away. He's still got a load of strength in those legs. You could tell that when he was riding along the banks of the James River, that Farrar still had a little bit more to give, but the Italians hunt him down. So do the Belgian riders. Farrar shakes his head. The arrival of the Dutch team as they all look around. De Moulin is still in the wheels. There are riders we haven't even mentioned today. Noticeably, just look about 5 wheels from the front. Nasser Bouhanni, the French sprinter, is now there. Bouhanni, can he win the world title? They are sprinting their way up towards Libby Hill this time. This is going to be a fantastic run into the finish line. Another big move as the French come forward. They know they've got the numbers. Zdeněk Štýbar, I think, is also there for the Czech Republic. Is the move going to happen now on this final climb of the day? The German riders move up as well. Everyone's sensing they don't want to let anyone sneak away on this climb. The French are trying the same tactic they tried in the under-23 road race. Zdeněk Štýbar now attacks, immediately goes to the front. The big move immediately going with him is the German rider. It looked to me like it was John Degenkolb who was trying to go with Štýbar. The Belgians are trying to shut the gap. Edvald Boasson-Hagen, I think, is up there. Štýbar is giving this full throttle now. Degenkolb gritting his teeth. Van Avermaet is also there. Edvald Boasson-Hagen, the first 4 riders across the top. Štýbar, Degenkolb, Van Avermaet. Also there is Edvald Boasson-Hagen. Peter Sagan now arrives at the front of the race for the first time. Can he get himself onto the wheel? It's one long string of riders as they go over the top of Libby Hill for the final time. A huge crowd is waiting here at the finish line to bring these riders home. 3.7 kilometers to go. Štýbar's attack hasn't worked. Who's going to take the initiative? A big move on the right hand side. It comes from the Dutch squad. John Degenkolb is prepared to go with this one. An immediate reaction from Štýbar. Van Avermaet. Behind Van Avermaet is Edvald Boasson-Hagen. They're going to go fast downhill now and set themselves up for the climb of 23rd Street, where dreams are made and hopes are crashed. Thanks for all your messages today. Thanks to Tori Valentine, to Pat Fitzgerald, to everyone else who's just recently tweeted in. We are nearly at the end of this race, the end of a week of incredible racing here in Richmond. We hit 23rd Street now. One rider going on the attack, and it looks to me like one rider trying to make a move. This is Greg Van Avermaet. Van Avermaet, tracked by Peter Sagan. Sagan now goes on the attack. Peter Sagan trying to make his move. Van Avermaet is with him. Boasson-Hagen is still there. Degenkolb. Behind Degenkolb is Nasser Bouhanni. Stibar showing his teeth as they sprint uphill over the top of the climb, and Sagan has a little bit of a gap. He looks around. Van Avermaet. Peter Sagan gives this full throttle now. He goes into the aero tuck. Look at this, downhill, and he's in Frankie Andreu, as he said, the super tuck. He looks around now. He's trying to go away. Sagan is on his own. Can he win the world title? Sagan, look at the gap he's got as he goes into shock or bottom. Sagan leans the bike over, right on the limit right now. Peter Sagan has gone through that corner like he was absolutely on the limit. Behind him is a Greg Van Avermaet and Edvald Boasson-Hagen. Sagan takes one little look around. He's so cool. He just leans with the forearms as he now goes round the right-hander. Peter Sagan, he's going now to try and win this world title. He hits 42 kilometers an hour. What a bike handler this man is. He's taking seconds out of these riders. Peter Sagan hugging the right-hand side of the road. What an absolutely incredible attack by Peter Sagan. We haven't heard him all race. A little uphill section now. He's looking for the gears. Sagan looking down. Is it going to engage? Boasson-Hagen is trying to wait and wait, but Sagan has the advantage. This looks like it could be the world title for Peter Sagan. He would be the most popular world champion I have ever seen in the last few years. Boasson-Hagen now tries to jump across to Sagan. Behind Sagan, the Spanish team are trying to salvage something. Sagan turns on to Governor Street. He's now going to set himself up for the most important climb of his life. Peter Sagan with 1 kilometre to go. He's out of the saddle. He hugs the left-hand side of the road. Peter Sagan now still lifting the tempo a little bit more. This is his race to lose right now. Sagan looking absolutely superb. The green jersey of the Tour de France. He timed his move to absolute perfection. Behind him, the Spanish team are coming. Has Sagan got enough left? He looks around one more time. Greg Van Avermaet is tying up the move of Rigoberto Urán. Sagan, he's always got a little bit of, he puts it in a huge gear. Peter Sagan puts it in the biggest gear on his bike. He's going to turn the left-hand corner. Look at the shoulders, look at the gritted teeth. Is he going to win this world title? Sagan has got 600 metres to go. He can see the gantry. Now he's got a time trial on his way to the finish line. Rigoberto Urán has just come round the corner. Peter Sagan, don't look round now, Peter. This world championship is just there for the taking. Rigoberto Urán is hunting him down for Colombia. Sagan, he doesn't want to look round right now. He's going to have to give this some green jersey power. Sagan, 6 hours, 14 minutes and 8 seconds of racing. Is he going to win the world title? This finishing straight is so long. Has he got enough in the tank to go for the victory? 200 metres to go. Peter Sagan out of the saddle. There's absolutely nothing left in that body. The lactic acid is burning. The eyes are filled with pain. Peter Sagan sets himself up now with 50 metres to go to the finish line. What a win. Peter Sagan is the world champion after 6.25 hours of racing. What an absolutely amazing win. Peter Sagan is the world champion. Whoa. What an absolutely incredible finish. He had nothing left when he got to that finish line. Peter Sagan just was, look at that, he gets off the bike, he walks. He's covered in sweat and dirt and everything, but he's He's now going to go to the fans. He's going to high-five everyone. He is probably the most popular world champion we have ever seen in the last few years. He can't believe it. He's walking. He doesn't want to ride the bike. What a win by Peter Sagan. He throws his helmet into the crowd. That'll be worth about 100 grand in a few years. But Peter Sagan wins. Just looking at the silver and bronze, I think it was Michael Matthews of Australia. Navadauskas, I think, takes the bronze medal, but we'll confirm that in a moment. Here he goes, right on his wheel with Van Avermaet, but look at the power of Sagan, but he won it on the corners, on the descent. He was absolutely thrilling. Matthews and a few others were just a little bit far back. What an absolutely stunning victory by Peter Sagan. So often this year he's been criticised for finishing second, and he laughed when he said, yeah, but look, it doesn't matter, I like to race my bike, and I've won bike races so far, but the biggest bike race he could win this year is the World Championship. Suddenly the pain turned to smiles. He shakes his head and he then takes the crowd's applause. What a win by Sagan. I don't think he can believe it. He just hid all day. He throws his bike. He just wants to walk. Peter Sagan is the world champion. His girlfriend's really happy. Sagan is now the world champion. What an incredible day. She's got the green glasses on. Well, I think the Americans will be happy with this victory. If it couldn't be an American, then it could be Peter Sagan. Listen to this. 11 stage wins in the Tour of Switzerland, 4 stage wins in the Tour de France, winner of the green jersey, 13 stage wins in the Tour of California, 4 stage wins in the Vuelta a España, the winner of Ghent-Wevelgem, the winner of E3 Harelbeke, 5 stage wins in Tirreno Adriatico. He's a bit of a showman sometimes, but Sagan is a tremendous bike rider. Sagan wins in 6 hours, 14 minutes, 37 seconds. The
which surround the town of Ponferrada. And the town has become a complete hive of fans from all over the world. That was the Flanders flag of Belgium there. Bustle and bustle last night after the women's race yesterday. Now everybody here in anticipation is over the next 6.5 hours we're going to see a great battle indeed. Rui Costa of Portugal is the defending champion. Same as we've had since Friday for all of the road races, just a different number of laps. This is the 14-lapper as we continue around this circuit. 2 climbs as we get around towards the end of the lap each time, over the dam wall with that tricky right-hand bend, and then we come down over the Mirador climb and drop back into town. And we can tell you a little bit more about that now, as we now give you an animation with Oscar Freire, 3-time world champion, and Matt Lindell.
This is a hilly 18.2-kilometre circuit, ridden 4 times by the junior women and 14 by the elite men. It would have suited a resilient, fast finisher like 3 times world champion Oscar Freire down to the ground.
yeah, when I saw the circuit, when I saw the parcours, I said, oh, it's the best circuit for me. But also, it's the best circuit if you have a really good team to control the race. But it's really difficult to control the race, I think, in my opinion.
The first obstacle is the shallow climb, 6 kilometers long, out of Ponferrada and up to Confederación.
Immediately when you exit the city, you start the climb. It's not steep, but when you have 4 or 5% during 260 kilometers, becomes really hard.
The descent from Confederación is winding, steep and cambered. It leads across the dam to the start of a second, much harder climb up to the Mirador, with 2 10% uphill sections.
The important moment, the most important moment, is just 300 meters to the top. Because if somebody wants to make the difference, is the place to make it. Because after that, if you have 10 seconds or 5 seconds, you can arrive to the finish.
The descent from the Mirador is lightning fast, and the crux is a tricky right-hand corner 2 kilometers from the finish line. With probably the steepest gradient of the course, it could be a nightmare in the rain.
The final is really difficult if it's raining. After the climb, for sure, somebody take a lot of risk and you have to follow the front riders.
Then the run back into town.
You don't have time to recover. The last 2 kilometers, they will be in line. It's important to have somebody to pull the sprint, but it's also difficult because not so many riders they arrive to the last 300 meters. I think it's difficult to have a group in that part of the race. Salud.
Yes, Oscar Freire there. What a great world champion he was, and won it 3 times. The first time as a total unknown, but we certainly knew about him after that. Well, the last time these world championships were held in Spain was in Madrid in 2005, and the winner of this race then was the sprinter Tom Boonen. He's been working hard to get himself into shape to repeat this event. He still thinks he has 3 more attempts at this world title before he retires. But the defending champion today is Rui da Costa of Portugal. Small team to support him, but then there was a small team to support him last year. Most of the riders of the big nations have got 9 riders on their squad, like the Italians, for example, and the French. But for Portugal, they've only qualified 6 riders for the team of Portugal. Spain have also qualified with 9. The Australians are here. A lot of people talking about Simon Gerrans as a possible winner, and indeed the former under-23 world champion Michael Matthews. British riders, not too sure who they're backing, but a lot of people seem to want to support Ben Swift on the British team. Andre Greipel, a great sprinter for Germany, but I don't think this is the course for Andre. And the Americans too have a realistic chance there in possibly TJ Van Garden. Edward Boysenhagen with Team Sky, now moving to a new team, MTN Quebec next year. And frankly, this is a really open race. At this time of the year, with all of the big competitions over, it's down to much to the enthusiasm of professional cyclists who started racing in the Santos Tour Down Under in January. And here we are now coming to the end of September. And there could be plenty of room here today for a surprise. Daryl Impey, who was suspended during the summer, he had to prove himself legal after a suspect drug test, and he did that. He was completely vindicated, and he's now in the World Championship and riding on very good form. He's had a long rest, and that might be very valuable today.
And just for the fact of seeing a smile on Vasil Kirienka's face.
Yeah, to put the World Champions jersey on and ride in Team Sky, oh, they'll feel it was a British winner. Peloton at 40 seconds. Now we've got Alexander Anderson on the front there. Did this on the stage of the Vuelta a España. He really gritted his teeth over the climb. They couldn't get rid of him, and he won the day.
It's over for them.
Well, it's foreshortened. It's still 12 seconds, that gap, and Gauthier just hangs on, a little limpet at the back there, locked in. He offers no help at all. He just cannot lift the ante at all, Gauthier, sitting there.
More firepower from the Belgians now. They are going to help out.
I must say, I've never seen the Belgians ride quite so well for a long time. They're riding very well, the Belgians, today.
One rider left for Ireland. I think it's Roach.
It's Roach. It's Nicholas Roach down there on the far left, I think.
And where is Peter Sagan? Well, one more second if it comes to the GPS now, but we're going to see them on our intermediate timing very soon.
And then we're going to fly down towards the dam head for the last time, and then onto the Mirador. And once over the Mirador, if they've got this sort of a gap,
it's all or nothing.
They can take it to the finish. The Italians done a good job, but there's now reinforcement. This is the little flick off up the hill now. This is where it's steepest. This is where somebody must really try and kick away.
Here are 4 leaders: Alessandro De Marchi for Italy, Vasil Kirienka for Belarus, Michael Valgren Andersen for Denmark, and Cyril Gauthier for France. But Gauthier seems to be cooked, and has been for quite a few kilometers now.
Very tenacious rider, I'll give him that. As he hangs on at the back here, waiting for the 250 kilometre to the top of the Mirador, the next check.
8 seconds, race radio says the gap is between these 4, and you can see Gauthier looking. Who is still there for my team, for Les Bleus?
Now this is the run down, and it's going to have to take some risks as they race down towards the crossing of the dam head. The peloton will take risks, as they must do. 8 seconds the gap now, they're coming. It's going to become the battle of the Mirador climb to decide the championship, it appears. This is the last S's before they go over the dam wall. In the distance there, Gauthier just making sure he can see the way round. De Marchi in second wheel. Still Kirienka. They're saying it's 6 seconds now as they get round the corner. These 4 have got round safely, but 6 seconds, absolutely nothing. And they're right too, because that's the same corner, and the peloton are almost on them.
Michał Kwiatkowski.
Well, he's playing his cards, and this is why they made the move.
This is a good moment,
Phil. He must
Phil.
feel good. Well, if they're all fully extended, yes, it is a good moment, but he's taking a gamble here to go alone. 6.8 kilometres to go. He's got to catch the boys up front as well.
Very exciting this is. Who is going to take the rainbow jersey home? Rui Costa wore it for a year. Who's going to be its new wearer? Yesterday was Pauline Ferrand-Prévot winning the women's race. She did that in a sprint of a reduced group,
which came together a kilometre out, and we could be in a similar situation. De Marchi.
Too much watching in this group, as Kwiatkowski has reached the 4. 5 leaders now, but the peloton is straight there, led by the Spanish.
He's going to just take a deep breath and I think jump on the steeper sector. He's got to try. He's got to try. Second overall in the recent Tour of Britain, so he's got the form. He led the race for a couple of days.
He has been over-raced this year by his team, Kwiatkowski, but he, like you said, refound the form just ahead of these World Championships.
See, these riders are sensing that it won't be a group sprint as they try to open these gaps. Pressure too much. This is the steep climb now up the Mirador, but it's only very short, and the peloton are bringing, I can't believe it, some 55 riders towards the finish here. Look at the face of Kwiatkowski now in the colours of Poland instead of his Omega Pharma Quick Step. He launches the pressure here. 5.8 to go.
Michael Valgren Andersen, Alessandro De Marchi, the only ones to follow at the moment.
Andersen, the only one able to hang on, and he's not, because the elastic is stretched here. This is the big do-or-nothing win for Poland, and what a result it would be after the work of the Polish riders all day. And they're virtually all out of the race now. They've left it to Kwiatkowski.
Only Maciej Paterski is there at the front of the bunch, but we see an attack from Spain.
Now,
Kwiatkowski is suffering, but he is an expert bike rider. He knows how to.
At this stage of the race,
he knows how to go down on that descent. He has very good bike skills.
5.4 kilometers to become the first ever Polish winner of the World Elite Championship. The whole field, though, sweeping up the rest of the race here now. 18 seconds he's pulled out. Is he stealing the thunder of the Spanish, the Australians, the Italians? They're going to have to start chasing now.
Well, the Spanish only have one rider there at the first, at the front of the peloton, and nobody's doing anything. And this is a great move, and it was a fantastic moment decided by Michał Kwiatkowski. Is this Rodriguez?
Caruso, I think, who's made a move. We'll find out as he goes over the timing system, but he's gone just before the summit. There's the remnants of the break. They've been passed now. Not sure where Kirienka's gone.
This must be either Rodriguez or Dani Moreno, followed by, is it Gilbert?
It looks like that's definitely Gilbert there. And Simon Gerrans right behind as well.
And
Last
Valverde.
desperate moments. Valverde's there too, you're right.
It's Philippe Gilbert. Gilbert.
He launches for Belgium now as they come up. This is Kwiatkowski in the front. Philippe Gilbert is trying to hunt him down. He's got Gerrans with him as well, who's the most shrewdest tactician in bike races. Kwiatkowski goes over the top. How much are we going to give him? Valverde on the right of our picture here now.
Greg van Avermaet just trying to hold on there, but it's Valverde, Gerrans, Philippe Gilbert.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And Bauke Mollema, Rui Costa.
The proximity here of the other riders. You can see Bohani has just gone through in 10th place. Well, they gave him 10th here, but 9th, whatever. He's still right there. And I'll tell you, if they take him down to the finish, then I think it'll be job done in the sprint.
Also for France is Tony Galopin, and the world champion is up there. But first we have a leader, and his name is Michał Kwiatkowski.
And what a tribute this would be to the team that rode the hearts out for about 6 laps on the front to keep everything together for this man. And he certainly played his card to try and do as best he can.
This is our chase group with Simon Gerrans, with Philippe Gilbert, with Alejandro Valverde.
Gilbert just piles on the pressure here. He's giving Kwiatkowski now 14 seconds on the course. Now, is the dangerous rider, is this still Valgren who's kept in the attack? Because I haven't got him at all just at the moment. But there's no doubt who this man is, and this is Kwiatkowski trying to steal the show on the last lap. Well-timed attack, dry roads to the run down back into Ponferrada to bring an end a week of World Championship cycling. Valverde is the rider from Spain.
Galopin coming back. Greg van Avermaet looking, there he is.
Philippe Gilbert, he's been a world champion before. This is a course for him, he knew it was.
Matti Breschel is there for Denmark. Matti Breschel, the winner of the Tour of Luxembourg this year.
Peloton have come together at the back. There's still that little group trying to get onto the tail here. This will put John Degenkolb back in with a chance of a sprint win. Also Michael Matthews. But this group trying to spoil it for them now as they push it down towards the last couple of kilometres of the race. Philippe Gilbert, Alejandro Valverde, the two riders here leading the chase. Gerrans just gapped a little bit there.
But still leading Michał Kwiatkowski.
Oh, a little bit of a speed wobble, but he's come off that bend, it clips the barriers, drives towards the finish. This will be the most emphatic of victories if he can get it. Valverde revving up here now.
Followed by Philippe Gilbert. Also, Tony Galopin is there for France.
Galopin is the Frenchman. He's had a great season. Maillot jaune in the Tour de France, stage winner.
Oh, they're coming in fast now, but still led by Poland, by Michał Kwiatkowski after 6.5 hours of racing.
This is the gap. It looks from this distance, though, it might well be enough. They're just over a kilometre and a bit from the finish here. Kwiatkowski that little bit closer. The face of Gilbert here. There's no thought of Gilbert saving anything for the sprint. He is riding his heart out to keep this race together. And the man who could well finish up the winner will be Tony Galopin. There's Kwiatkowski. He's heading for the kilometre sign. The pack are reforming, but the camera foreshortens the lens here. Gilbert grits his teeth. Galopin is in this group as well. For France in the dark colours. It's been his season this year. Valverde's dropped to the back. He's going to have to jump sooner or later. This is desperately close. Just a second from the end, there's Greg van Avermaet. Simon Gerrans, the opportunist who wins only big races, that Australian, and he's right there. Gilbert grits his teeth. This is the swing now, but coming up the home straight, is this the first ever Polish man to win the World Elite Championships? They're lining up the sprint behind, and the hesitation may be the victory margin required here by Kwiatkowski. Mikkel Kwiatkowski, the 24-year-old, hanging on as the sprint opens up with Galopin and Van Avermaet. Valverde trying to get on the mix as well, so too is Matti Breschel coming through, but it's all too late. He better keep going, but he's feeling he's done it as he comes over the line. Kwiatkowski, what a brilliant day for the Poles, have got it on the line. And an incredible result.
It was the exact right time to go.
And what a day of great team tactics by Poland there. They rode the hearts out for one man. They're all watching from the pits now as they're seeing Kwiatkowski deliver for Poland. The first ever gold medal for Poland in these championships. And Simon Gerrans, by the way, who has had a brilliant season, goes through in second place, a silver medal for Australia. And Alejandro Valverde in the same position he was a year ago.
Another
medal
podium, another podium for Valverde, and another World Championships missed. I love that, the fact that just like yesterday with Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, that moment they realised that they are the best rider in the world, that they are going to be in that rainbow jersey. And Patrick Lefevere, he has his world title.
Yes, and he has another wonderful result from a rider of the Amiga Pharma Quick-Step squad. Today, of course, riding in his country colours of Poland, and Polish riders on rival trade teams really drove this race for him. Tactics which seemed so strange at the time, but they put him in a position, and then when it came to the last section, he took his chance and he went. And that was a most brilliantly well-taken championship for Michael Kwiatkowski, 24 years of age. This year he's finished 5th in the Amstel Gold Classic. He's finished 3rd in the Flèche Wallonne, 3rd in Liège-Bastogne-Liège. He won the national time trial champion of his country. But this one is the big one. At 24 years of age, the champion of the world. And how's that for confidence? Freewheeling to the line while they battled out, with Gerrans getting the silver medal on our left, as Valverde takes another 3rd place.
4th place, Matti Breschel. 5th place, Greg van Avermaet. Tony Galopin in 6th. Philippe Joubert in 7th. Alexander Christophe in 8th. John Degenkolb in 9th. And Nasser Bouhanni is 10th. All the names we expected. Cancellara, Ben Swift, Sonny Colbrelli, Michael Matthews, Ramunas Navardauskas, Daryl Impey. And then the first for Poland, Maciej Paterski. The last one to stay with his team leader comes in 17th.
At the end of the day, an average speed of over 39 kilometers an hour. Only 57 riders at this moment have crossed the finishing line.
3rd place and winner of the bronze medal, Alejandro Valverde from Spain.
Very popular man here in Spain. He's had a great season, but I'm afraid he's on the podium in his 4th, 3rd place finish in these championships. He's also had 2 silvers as well. Doesn't seem too disappointing, I must say. Alejandro Valverde,
well, he's
still
just
smiling.
He just said, I did what I came out to do here, and that was get a medal for Spain. Gracious in defeat, but I don't think he'll be particularly happy with bronze.
It is the only medal that Spain has won in these championships.
He said in an interview this week, this was my last chance to get a world title. Though I'm not so sure in Richmond we might see him as well.
Simon Gerrans of Australia, the Victorian from the Victorian High Country in Mansfield, always delivers, such a reliable professional cyclist. 6 wins this year, including the classic Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Came here as a favourite to win because of his 2 wins in Canada just a couple of weeks ago, the Quebec Grand Prix and the Montreal Grand Prix. Second place for Gerrans.
The gold medal and world champion Michał Kwiatkowski from Poland.
10 years younger than Simon Gerrans is this man here,
Presenting the world
as Michał Kwiatkowski receives his rainbow jersey from Brian Cookson, the president of the Union Cycliste Internationale, as the rain now comes down rather heavily. Zbigniew Spruk finished second in Plouay back in the year 2000 for Poland. Now, this man's got the title for the country.
It's the exact same podium we had this year in Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Of course, it was Simon Gerrans winning it there ahead of Kwiatkowski and Valverde. But these same 3 guys are on the podium now, and it shows that it is like a classic today.
Towards the end, I guess the course was similar to the race in Belgian Ardennes. You just can't believe it.
121 kilometres to go as we hear on Radio Tour that Jan Bakelans is now safely back in the chasing group.
Luca Menzies looks like he's hit the deck with Bakelans and Stannard just in front of him.
So just as we were saying, he got back. Lukemans took his teammate Bakelans back to the race, and then he crashes.
Yeah, Jan's not afraid to go downhill fast in the wet, that's for sure. So today, I think he'll get back on the downhill now. But if he's struggling already, then yeah, it's not showing great signs.
So the leaders now on to the climb again. The top of this will be 151 kilometres, and they've ridden well together. The gap is coming down though very, very fast. We're here on Radio Tour, it's around about 3.5 minutes. Look at the speed though, Adam, on this climb. 10k an hour.
It'd be great to see if we could have that speed on the last lap, that's for sure.
We just heard that the Russian rider Chernetsky has also crashed on that descent. So a few riders just are unable to keep the bike upright on the descent, just sliding off. It is going to be, as you mentioned a while ago, a really tough bike rider who wins today's race. 4 hours of racing covered, 151 kilometres of racing after 4 hours. So the average speed is now 37.5 kilometres an hour.
This part of the climb here is very, very tough as well. It looks flat, but it's a false flat, and if you can, at the end of the race, if someone can attack gear, I think that's the place to do it. Not on the steep part of the climb, because you're not going to get that much time there, but when it flattens out, if you've still got the legs just to squeeze on, I think you can put some riders into trouble.
Marianne Vos, she attacked there, and then really where she capitalised on her attack was where you mentioned, where you just really push at the top, and that's where you open that gap where people aren't able to close it, and that's where we've seen riders manage to time trial away by getting even 5 seconds at the top of that climb is possibly enough to win you this race.
Yeah, definitely. I think with this descent, it's so technical, and in the wet as well, it's going to be super hard to bring anyone back. There's not many straight parts where you can really get the power down and them straight away to be in with a chance.
The 5 riders then on the roads back into the centre of Florence. Thanks for joining us for the World Road Race Championships. 208 starters. We're down to 115 riders left out on this course. It is terrible weather conditions, pouring rain. It's not too cold. It's not freezing cold, but these riders are going to get colder and colder now as they're soaked through. The gap now to the 5 leaders is round about 3.5 minutes, so it is getting towards critical points in this race, because we are about 120 kilometres now from the race finish, and now we're seeing a gap open. Look at this. On the climb, the Italians have got a split going again, and there's probably only about 15 riders in this group. Cancellara's made it.
Cancellara, Van Avermaet's there, Langeveld's there for Holland, Volkswagen's there for Denmark.
Finotti just sitting at the back of the group and just trying to stay there, but the damage has been done probably by another crash on the descent. And Italy are just keeping every other country out of this race right now.
Just been told as well that Roach is out for Ireland. He's crashed as well, so he's not in there anymore.
Yeah, I didn't see Nicholas Roach on any of the listings, and because it is chaos out here, we're not getting all the updates about riders abandoning as we would do normally. Gilbert goes over that little rise, followed by Van Avermaet near the front. Fuglsang is there. Is it Bosenhagen? I'm not sure. There's hardly any riders left.
This is incredible. They've still got 7 laps to go, and there's only hardly any riders in the front now.
So at the front there, over the little crest of the that climb, is Ulissi, Nocentini, Paolini, Scarponi, Gilbert, Van Avermaet, Grifko, Fuglsang, Kelderman, Cancellara, Rast, Bauke Mollema. That's it. The gap 2:52. The next riders are Visconti, Vanotti, Betancourt, Marcus Burkhardt and Contador. The group at 3:09 is Joaquim Rodriguez, Valverde, Michael Shah. So a lot of riders being distanced on that rise. Chris Froome now trying to shut the gap with Quintana on his wheel. And now another gap to the next group, being led by another Belgian rider with
Serge Powell's there.
Yeah.
Vauclair still in a bit of trouble at the back here.
Free wheels over the top. You know, it's incredible to watch this race today. There's riders in all sorts of trouble. Bernie Eisel went through. I think there's Geraint Thomas. Here's Ian Stannard. And Froome is desperately trying to get back into the wheels. I just have to wonder sometimes. I know, you know, we're talking here and so many fans of different countries. I just wonder sometimes when Britain ride on the front for 100k and then isolate their leader. It's an interesting tactic.
Yeah. Excuse me. I think they just wanted to stay out of trouble on the first part of the race. I think they wanted to set a pace and try and make it hard for Chris when they got onto the things. But I don't think they expected it to be this hard, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a tough day as we see Froome making his way back onto the wheel of one of the American riders. But there's a lot of riding to be done to get anywhere near back to the front. The group at 3:09 with Bosenhagen, with Lars Petter Nordag, with Rigoberto Urán. And Froome has desperately just got to try and get on the wheels. In front of him, group of 2 riders, one rider in isolation, then a group which is the main peloton just in front. The problem you have got here is you just have to you've got to throw all caution, and you don't want to be doing that too often to get yourself back in the bike race.
And I don't think this is the front group. No, it's not. This is Contador, so they're even behind the front group now.
So this is 3 kilometres to go with a chasing group, and any moment now we're going to get the chance as they go past our commentary box to just see the damage that's been done by the Italian riders, as outside the window the water is just pouring down our windows.
Valverde and Rodriguez there, Contador trying to bring them back to the front, but again, it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of corners they've got to sprint out, and it's going to take a lot out of them. Even if they get back onto there, they've got to make the same effort again to try and get to the front of the peloton before the climb starts.
So the 5 leaders concentrating hard. Thanks for joining us for the World Road Race Championships. We have got next time round, we're going to reach the 156 kilometre point. There'll be 120, just under 120 kilometres of racing left. If you're just joining us now, the race has been dominated by this 5-rider breakaway that went on the attack about 140k ago. Their advantage grew to over 8 minutes. It's now around about 3 minutes, and the race has been translated really by the wet weather conditions that we've seen. And now the leaders are making their way back to complete another lap after 4 hours 8 minutes, or 4 hours 9 minutes now clicking through, and they have 7 laps of racing to go. They hit the 156 kilometre point. If you're wondering, the voices today that you're hearing, alongside me is Adam Blythe, who rides, of course, alongside Hushoff and Gilbert in BMC. British rider who's been giving us his analysis of what's happening, and so far he's got it pretty much perfect about how this race would be run. As we see the groups going over the railway, trying to come back together before the next climb. A few of the favourites in trouble. We've heard Nicholas Roach is out of the race. Cadel Evans is out now after this crash. And do send us your tweets. We are reading them. We're maybe not mentioning them too much, but thank you very much for any messages. At Adam Blythe 89, at McCrossan, and we'll join you in the race. We'll say thank you to those messages afterwards, but thanks for your thoughts. We are updating on them now and then. The Italian riders in the Azzurri blue are setting the time trial on the front, and they have got this absolutely right. They might be playing into the hands of Fabian Cancellara just a little bit, because he's still in there, but Gilbert is here.
This is incredible. There's 7 laps to go still, and how many riders are in the front now? 15?
Yep.
It's incredible. It's such a hard race today, and this is why I wanted it to rain.
This is why, if you weren't with us earlier on today, when we first started, Adam's been willing the rain. He's been outside asking the rain gods to carry on raining, and it's got worse and worse. And in here we've got most of the Italian team. Visconti's at the back, Cancellara's there, I think it's Michael Schär. Van Avermaet is there with Philip Gilbert. Bauke Mollema, I think, is in this group, as we see the riders now completing a lap. 7 laps to go, and the next group on the road are desperately trying to come back. The Ukrainian riders, Andrei Grifko, if you're wondering, in the blue and yellow. But it's the Netherlands, Italy and Switzerland who have dominant numbers as a group, with Chris Froome just making contact at the back of it, are desperately trying to shut this gap. Italy's train is putting every other country in all sorts of trouble. Just updating on the retirements in this race so far. Let me just give you an update then of the riders who we know for certain are out of the race. Chris Horner of the United States, the winner of the Vuelta a España. Mati Bodnar of Poland. Sam Bennett of Ireland. Jaroslav Popovic of Ukraine. Gregor Bol of Slovenia. Also riders who are not going to finish: Cardoso of Portugal, Sweetsoff, Bagdonas. I'm also hearing that Taylor Phinney is out of this race. So a lot of riders who are out of this race now. The list of retirements is growing all the time. We've heard that Phinney is out, Nicholas Roach is out, and we'll try and update shortly on anyone else, but Chris Horner for certain is out of this race, so is Cadel Evans. So on to the climb then, And the next group on the road contains Vogler at the front. We just mentioned Horner as retiring. And the Italian riders setting the tempo at the front of the race and continue with what has been the tactic all the time.